NFL predictions starting in 20 minutes. Let's bring in Doug Gottlieb right now. We got some NBA stuff we got to get to. Duggar, after me, Fox Sports Radio. Okay, I said to start the show, windows closed. Seahawks going to rule the league. An hour later, you're like, go away, windows closed. Harbaugh's going to rule the league. Window closes. Sacramento Kings years ago, they're going to be here forever, and the window closes. Trevor Ariza gone. Luka Mbamute gone. Clint Capella wants $40 million more than the Rockets going to give him. They have no forwards. P.J. Tucker's now going to guard LeBron. I'm looking at this Houston window. Doug, they don't feel like the same team this morning.
No, I think the NBA Twitter handed the NBA trophy to the Golden State Warriors when they landed DeMarcus Cousins.
No question.
But the truth is that the trophy actually was handed to the Golden State Warriors when Trevor Ariza signed with the Phoenix Suns. Now, I will say this. I hosted your show Friday. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And Joy and I discussed this. I am not a Carmelo guy. I would not have had Carmelo come to the Lakers. But if there's a chance that it works for Melo, the only two places it could work and you could win with him in the league are the Warriors and having a team that played defense. And that actually fits perfectly with Carmelo Anthony. So, look, I do think that it can work to a certain extent. It gives them a third prolific scorer, and while he's not the Melo of the last, 15 years in the league, he can still get you a lot more buckets than Trevor Ariza.
But, Doug, you've pointed something out with Carmelo. He's never taken care of himself.
No.
He looks like last year, Doug, he looks like he's a shot fighter. Physically.
Yes, that's the point I would make. What happens with people is they follow him on Twitter, and he has these hoodie Mellow workouts in the off season.
Yeah.
I remember I was reading Men's Health or Men's Fitness, one of those magazines, and it had this is 10 years ago. It had Carmelo Anthony. What was your pregame meal? And it was like pancakes, bacon, sausage, orange juice. Sounded terrific if you're 7 and you're having breakfast with your grandpa. It doesn't sound like a professional athlete.
That was George Karl's number one knock on him. He's never committed to that part of his game.
I think he is committed now. I really believe he is committed now. I don't think he's a hangout guy like he used to be. I think his diet is better than it used to be. The problem is, and people who have been heavy for a good portion of their lives and lost a bunch of weight know this. There does come a point to which you lose weight and you feel better and you look better, but one, you got that loose skin, and two, your body still carried too much weight
for 28 years.
For 20 years, and so you're never going to see all of the benefits that those of us who are able to stay in shape for our entire adult life with. That's what Melo's going through.
I actually agree, is that he didn't care for so long. Now that he cares, it's a little late.
It is a little late.
Because his body's breaking. His shoulder's not good. He didn't shoot well last year.
Now, look, they got to get Capella re-signed. This, the greatest news ever for Clint Capella is the fact that they lost Ariza and Luke Richard Mbamute, because those are their 2 3-and-D defenders.
Yep.
And now I become even more important. He's not worth $25 million a year, but he's probably worth $25 million to the Rockets now a year, because there is no plan B for them if he doesn't re-sign with them.
Okay, so listen, Chris Mannix, I can love you, I can love Chris Mannix. Doesn't mean I agree with everything. And yesterday he said, this Laker thing is combustible, and I'm like, listen, I know it's the East. He lost his coach for a month. Kyrie dumped him. Kevin Love was hurt. They reshaped their roster at the trading deadline, and none of the guys could really play, and they beat the Celtics and got to the NBA Finals. Listen, I know the West is deeper. It's more middle class. But how's LeBron done against the middle class of the NBA? Ask Toronto. I don't see the Lakers as combustible like everybody else. He called Lance Stevenson. He likes Rondo. I don't see it as a mess like everybody else.
Well, look, I see it as potentially combustible. I absolutely do. I mean, listen, it's Rondo, same guy who did quit on the Dallas Mavericks in the playoffs. As shooters earlier in their career.
I totally agree. They need Kuzma and Lonzo to be more consistent.
Well, no, Kuzma, Lonzo, Ingram. I think Josh Hart's got a big part of what they want to do rotation-wise, whether he's a starter or bench player. They think KCP will be better in year 2 now that he doesn't have, now that he's not, serving an in-house suspension. He was sleeping at a jail for 20 games or so. So I think. And then you put LeBron James, a great passer. But here's the one thing that I think people are missing.
Okay.
If you look at that roster, okay, and they lose Julius Randle, right? What's missing on that roster that other NBA teams are all trying to search for? A small ball 5. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you listen to the words that Magic Johnson and the ESPN Windhorst Shelburne article where they want to play fast and they want to use LeBron some in the post. I listen to that. I look at that roster, and I remember the NBA Finals and how LeBron could take plays off because he was guarding Draymond Green. I'm going to tell you right now, Colin, I think the plan for LeBron 4.0 is for him to play some small ball 5. In the past, he was the point guard, and then he wanted to be the power forward and have a center as a shooter. Chris Bosh as a shooter. Kevin Love as a shooter. Or have a rim-protecting big guy as well. Joel Anthony when he was early in Miami. Tristan Thompson is the 5. I think that LeBron looks around the league and says, okay, in my 30s, who can I get a step on? Who can I beat off the dribble?
Bigs.
And it's bigs. And I think that's part of the plan for the Lakers, and I personally think that'll work. Now, is there some combustibility? Sure. Luke it could be an issue. He was a little bit dicey midseason. They all think he can coach, but can he coach LeBron? Rondo, Lonzo, KCP wasn't beloved last year. How does that all work? It's combustible, but it also just might work.
Sixers say they were this close to landing LeBron.
Yeah.
They flew to Los Angeles. He not only wasn't at the meeting, he didn't conference in, Doug. He didn't. I mean, you could be on a cell in Malibu. Right. Yo, it's Braun. Give me your pitch. He didn't conference in. Were they close to getting him?
I don't think so. Look, I think it was interesting. I think it was intriguing. I think people respect the talent they have. Like Joel Embiid, if he's healthy, is one of the 10 most talented players on earth.
Yes.
He might be one of the 5 most talented players on earth.
When healthy.
But when healthy. We don't know. He hasn't been healthy a whole season, hasn't played an entire season. We also don't know, if you watched the series against the Celtics, does he truly know how to play in important basketball games? He hasn't played in any up until this last season.
Fair.
The Ben Simmons, look, I think that the reason this story was leaked is because Ben Simmons is repped by LeBron's guys. The league is about, a lot of it is about respect. And I think that what this is, hey, look, we respect you, Ben. We respect the 76ers. This was a business decision that was made, but you were this close. The second place in recruiting stories, you hear it in college football. Remember, Tim Tebow nearly went to Alabama.
Yeah.
Mike Shula was the coach. And he goes to Florida, and he's part of 2 national championship teams. And Alabama fans, man, imagine had Tim Tebow come to Alabama, Mike Shula might still be the coach at Alabama, and history would have changed. But you know what? Second place is the first loser. Philadelphia is the first loser in this case.
True story. Pete Carroll loved Tim Tebow out of high school. I don't know if you've ever heard this. So I didn't even bring this up. Pete was talking about it one time. We were talking about Tebow in a group of people. And he goes, we got a visit to Tebow's house. This is when Pete was at USC. He goes, I knew I was in trouble when I walked up to the door and the floor mat was Gators. He's like, we were playing for second place.
Yes.
We had no chance. Florida and Urban Meyer were going to beat us on that. All right, Doug Gottlieb is doing the show after us on Fox Sports Radio. He was here Friday. He is awesome. We are loaded today. Okay, here it's coming next. For the next 8 days, I'll pick a division each day. NFC North is next. I'm making my NFL predictions. I'm told this is on tape, and we can archive it, and you can hold it against me. I am allowed minor granular tweaks in the preseason if guys...
You know, nobody likes free pizza, so it should be...
Oh, my God, that's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I actually know this location, but we had a debate on the show while you were gone last week, so I have to get your opinion on it.
Yes.
Do you eat stranger pizza?
What is that? What do you mean?
Have you ever been to a restaurant, someone has left pizza on their table, they paid for their food, got up and left pizza on the table. Have you ever eaten that pizza?
At a restaurant?
Yes.
Well, of course not.
Oh, thank you.
Well, who did?
I mean, Colin, you would be shocked at the amount of people that think that that's appropriate behavior.
At a restaurant?
Shocked, yes.
I walk into a restaurant, there's a table that hasn't been cleaned with pizza, and people grab the pizza.
And they eat it. They put it in their body. They eat it.
Who?
I know it's a lot to absorb. Trust me, your reaction is the appropriate one. Don't let it bother you.
Now. If there is a box of pizza at work...
Totally different.
Oh, yeah, I'm all...
Totally different.
Yeah.
In
fact, I'll take the entire box to my office and say, I don't know what happened to it. I haven't seen it in hours.
We have never been more aligned. Just trust me.
Yeah, because
it's a thing.
At least I know my coworkers' hygiene standards.
To a point.
Yeah.
But also, someone else paid for that food and then decided they were done with it, so it's now garbage.
Right.
Thank you. It's just...
Wow. Joy Taylor with the news. What you learn on this show is incredible.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
That is correct. So I'm Friday. That was a topic on the show. Is Gottlieb a stranger at pizza eater?
He is. He has no problem going up to other people's tables while they've left and eating their food, eating their leftover pizza. It's his pizza.
I
now.
used to have a reputation at the other place I worked as a guy that just kind of borrowed everybody's food.
We talked about you, yes.
Yeah, that was my reputation.
We talked about that, and I believe you were the reason that the salad bar.
You and Doug are the reason why they had to get rid of the salad bar at
Why?
the calf. Because you guys kept going down and just eating food and walking away.
I thought that was what it was there for radio personnel. Doug Gottlieb is around the corner. By the way, I can look. I mostly don't like the media because I just don't. Most of my friends are not in the media. And it's not that they're bad people, but I just hang around people that are not in my business because I'm at my business all day. So when I'm not at my business, I don't want to talk about, this and sports and stuff. And so I love a guy, but he's crazy. I bring him on this show and he's crazy. Chris Mannix. Chris Mannix on the Lakers. This is the type of team that spontaneously combusts. Chris, I love you. Last year you came on this show and you said, this Cavs team's playing no defense. They'll be out in the first round. I said, they'll beat Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. Chris, last year, Kyrie Irving dumped LeBron. Kevin Love was the best remaining player, had lots of engine boss. Doug Gottlieb around the corner, the Herd.